Hi. In my last video, I talked about the introduction to the body of my speech on being a Toastmaster. Today, I'm going to be talking about the first part of that speech, or the first part of the body of that speech. And just as I did in that first video, I'm going to be talking off the cuff, spontaneous, no practice, no teleprompter or anything. I'm just going to say, if it comes to mind, then I'm going to say it. So, let's begin. I was born in September of 2003. I was born as a Toastmaster in September of 2003. Okay, why did I open the body of the speech in that way? Well, there are several reasons. So, if I were part of the audience, if I hear the speaker say that, I was born in September of 2003, and when I delivered this was 2006. What comes to mind would be, you can't be 3 years old. You can't be 3 years old. So what do you mean? So I followed that up with a clarification. I was born as a Toastmaster in September of 2003. Now, what's the effect of doing it that way? Well, for one thing, the attention of the audience will be maintained. Remember, in my introduction, I said that, this is my basic speech number 10. And for a Toastmaster, that's a big moment. So I would get the audience's attention. And in this case, I try to maintain that attention by saying something that, okay, maybe this is going to be interesting, right? So he said something that seems illogical, impossible, so I'm going to hear what he has to say. Now, the second reason why I use this opening is because, well, that will become apparent in the second clip. Let's watch. And like a lot of babies that take time to develop, it took me more than a year to deliver my first speech. Okay, so I related the first part with the second part, meaning, as I said, like a lot of babies that take time to develop, meaning babies who take time to learn to walk. Some babies take a year or so before they start walking. And in my case, it took me, well, more than a year before I started delivering speeches. So using that opening where I said, I was born born as a baby, as a Toastmaster baby, and it took me a year or so, not year or so, but more than a year to start speaking in front of an audience. Okay, why is that? What happened? Let's hear it. And the reason? Fear. The very thing that Toastmasters wants us to overcome had paralyzed me. Yeah. Fear was a very real thing, not just for me, but for other Toastmasters. And I'm pretty sure that it's also a real thing for a lot of you out there who are listening. It's terrifying to come up in front of people and start talking. A lot of different things goes through your mind. You think that, am I going to remember everything that I'm going to say? Am I going to, say, stumble on a word? Or maybe, what if I make a mistake and people start laughing? It'd be so embarrassing. So I'll be so ashamed. And that's a real fear for a lot of people. And by sharing this, I would create I will create a connection with those, people in the audience who have that same fear. Now, as a Toastmaster, probably even those who are confident the first time they deliver their speech, they know because they have observed other people who have that fear. So they understand what I'm saying. So by giving this part, by saying that the reason why it took me more than a year to deliver my first speech was because of fear. And that establishes the connection with the audience. Let's keep going. But with the encouragement and prodding of my fellow club members and other Toastmasters, I finally delivered my first speech in January of 2005. Yeah. If you join Toastmasters, you become a member of a club. And when you're in a club, we always described it as a safe place to fail. What do you mean? Meaning, if you deliver a speech and you make a mistake, you suddenly forget what you're going to say, you hesitate a lot, whatever. The people in the audience, your club members especially, are not going to condemn you. They're not going to insult you. They are there to support you and encourage you. So, yeah, maybe let's say that you delivered your speech and you, for the first time, for example, let's say that you're using notes because since it's your first time, you're allowed to use notes. Now, what we usually say is that if you use notes, make sure that you try to maintain eye contact with your audience from time to time. So never, or yeah, don't look at your notes and never look at your audience. So you look at your notes and then you talk to the audience. You look at your notes and then you talk to your audience. And that's one thing that we usually tell them. Now, there are especially new Toastmasters who never looked up from their notes. I was not one of them, but yeah, I know there were Toastmasters who never looked up from what they were reading. And instead of saying, scolding them, we just say gently as much as possible. We just say, I advise in your next speech, you can try looking up from your notes and obtain eye contact from your audience. So, yeah, even though you feel that, okay, I made a mistake there, but hey, it feels all right. I did okay. And even the satisfaction of delivering that first speech really gives you you know, uh, a boost in your self-confidence and being told that, okay, this is what you should do next. That will help you. Now, that part where I said that, being prodded by my club members and other Toastmasters, well, they didn't use a physical stick or anything to prod me, but they just encourage me. They very often would tell me, "Hey, Eric, when are you going to deliver your speech?" And if I say, I'm not really ready. I'm not confident yet. Yeah, that's okay. That's okay. And just write down your speech, practice and practice and practice. That will build up your confidence. So they would give me tips, techniques, even before I deliver my speech. So, okay, I'm going to listen to their advice. I prepared my speech and I practiced and practiced and practiced until I was confident enough to finally deliver it in January of 2005. And I did pretty well. Well, what do you expect? I had a year and 3 months to prepare. No, not really, but yeah, it took me that much to get, confidence, then it's okay if it takes you the same. It takes you the same amount of time. They are not there. The Toastmasters are not there to condemn you, to insult you. They are there to support you, encourage you, and help you develop as a public speaker. All right, that's it for this part. We'll see you in the next video. Take care, stay safe, and God bless.